because all three candidates have had an opportunity to be interviewed. I would have much rather just done one. Why not today?
Well, look, we've got Joanne Davidson sitting out here. She's probably the most respected elected official in the state. And Joanne headed my team. And, the fact is that she offered them a couple opportunities, which they rejected. And then we couldn't find anybody really to discuss this with. And then we got an ultimatum. And I don't know what you know about me, Carol, but I don't respond much to ultimatums. And, so, but what you need to know is I think I've probably done about 12, 13, maybe 14 hours of answering questions at editorial boards. We're here today. I mean, I've done gaggles, all that gaggle, I have other words for that, but the gaggle, you spend time with reporters, and I think that's worked out quite well for my being questioned. I mean, in some of these editorial boards, they're like, aren't you going to leave yet? I said, I'm here as long as you want me. You ask me anything you want me, and that's kind of the way we proceeded, and here we're a week away.
Ohio. If the state auditor can't audit the books, how can the public know if it's working? Is it working?
Well, first of all, we're up 250,000 jobs, so something's working. And let's talk about Jobs Ohio. The old Department of Development had an awful lot of on-the-job training. When Jamie Dimon wants to make a decision about whether to expand banking in Ohio, you don't want to go and get a crash course in what is the difference between a stock and a bond. And what we have with Jobs Ohio are people who are very qualified. So we have experts in energy, we've got experts in financial services, in manufacturing. Just yesterday we were down in Waverly, Ohio, having an announcement with the Rural King, which was so fantastic because they're in that old cabinet place that had shut down and just destroyed hope, and now we reopened it. Good, a lot of work, flexibility. Here's the situation with Jobs Ohio. Number one, they are audited by a public auditing firm. They're probably the most public-private operation in the state. One is you get the public auditing firm. They come in, it's in the annual report. Secondly, the auditor of the state, he does a compliance audit to make sure that everything's in order. Thirdly, there's a group on top of Jobs Ohio that reviews everything that they do. Fourthly, is if there's a tax change in Ohio, it goes to the government for a tax change. Now, and at the end of the day, every single dime that's spent by Jobs Ohio is revealed. So what is it that people don't like? I guess they want to see a couple emails about meet me at Starbucks at 10 or something like that. But I don't know how you can be more public than that. And it's working great, and we've got great people over there. The board of directors, by the way, they have to comply with the same rules and regulations of anybody that goes on the board of trustees at a university, community college. It's the same deal. So everybody knows what's happening, and again, they're doing a really good job in terms of doing very complicated deals and moving at the speed of business. By the way, one of the real exciting things that happened in Ohio was the location of Fuyao from China to Dayton, 800 jobs. Christy Tanner went from Columbus to Russia to China. I mean, you wouldn't believe how difficult those kinds of things are under the old system. The old system was fine for a while, but you always got to look. You got to change and innovate. So that's kind of the way.
Talking about you and all that you have done for women. Tell us, what have you done for women in the state of Ohio?
Well, Carol, I mean, you start with things like the prenatal, postnatal, early childhood, which is concern about kids, families, women. What we're doing on autism. I mean, it's a whole series of things that are designed to make sure we lift the family, and also to be in a position of where women in our society are elevated. My chief of staff, who's here today, I mean, she's the first woman chief of staff to come in with a new governor in the history of the state of Ohio. I have a number of them throughout my administration who are, Kim Pushpa is with us today. She runs the cabinet. So there are policies, and there are also things you do to just go beyond the policy to demonstrate the priorities that you have in regard to women. By the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but I appointed a woman to the Ohio Supreme Court, Judy French, and I hope she wins, so please vote for her, okay?
You said working hard and had to raise taxes in many cases. Do you intend to return any money to municipalities?
First of all, they can raise taxes. In fact, I think some of the local government, Carol, did. I'm going to get you the statistics if you want them. Some of them did. But I think as it relates to school levies, I don't have the numbers in front of me now. I think that they are actually below the last 10-year historic average. And I think only 4% of counties raise taxes. Now, here's the little thing that I don't think you know. Do you realize that 92% of reporting local governments are running a surplus greater than the state of Ohio? 92%. Greater than the state of Ohio. So I was down in Lancaster with the mayor. I didn't see the mayor down there. He's a Republican. He was attacking me for, cutting his budget. So we did a little checking. We found out that there was only 15% surplus. So I don't think I need to send him money. Now, the issue with the townships is an issue that always comes up. And within the local government fund, because some townships act like cities, if we need to look at the formula inside the fund, that's fine. But I have to tell you that the single biggest thing that we can do for local governments is to grow businesses. And that's why these communities kind of fight with one another sometimes over who gets located where. And the bottom line on this, Carol, is that I'm always willing to look at things, but at this point, it appears that the 92% of local governments running a surplus greater than ours, that's pretty good news. That doesn't mean we won't continue to look at it. Now, let me just say one other thing about the surplus. The surplus is an insurance policy that businesses want to see. They don't just want to see a balanced budget. They want to see more than that. They want to see tax cuts, but they also want to know that there is financial security, so they're not going to turn around and get hit up the back of the head. But let me tell you one other area beyond that. As you know, we had an Ebola situation in Akron. I'm pleased to see that the nurse has been now released. We will be in a position here in the next few days to be able to know how the folks are here in the state. But there are costs associated with that. It's nice to have a little money in the piggy bank when you get a crisis. And we've had a lot of challenges here in the state. And there are times when we're going to have to, as a government, help people that get stuck. I mean, stuck in a situation that could be related to a crisis. For example, the Toledo water crisis. We were sending money. I mean, you want to make sure you got a little money in the piggy bank. And that's exactly what we're doing.
And parking lots. The bill has not gotten out of committee. The Ohio School Board had voted unanimously to recommend the same provisions a couple of years ago. Is there anything you can do, Governor, to encourage movement of this bill?
Well, I think I got to understand that this bill. I used to be a member of the legislature. I was a state senator, then I was a congressman, and now I'm an executive. And you cannot be getting yourself in the middle of everything that's happening in that legislature. And in terms of that bill, I'm really not aware of that bill. I just don't know, and I don't know where it is. I know this: I tried to raise taxes on tobacco in order to reduce the income tax, because I happen to believe that a tax system encourages economic growth and risk-taking, and I thought raising the tax on cigarettes would have a double positive effect. Didn't go very well in the legislature, so we'll be having to go back at that. But I'll take a look at that and see. I mean, we don't want kids, smoking from the playground. I mean, I just don't know enough about it.
One more question. We have time for